Several former models accusing Jeffries of sexually exploiting them.
What happened to me changed my life, and not for the better.
Barrett Paul was one of those who spoke out to the BBC.
As a young person, you tell yourself this is just part of what the industry is.
Paul was a model when he says he crossed paths with Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson in 2011.
Being able to get into a meeting with the CEO meant you had a very good chance of becoming one of the models, and this was the draw. This is why I was an easy person to prey upon.
He claims he was invited to attend an event at Jeffries' estate in the Hamptons.